Hello. Hi guys, it's Zamira again this week. Thanks for dropping on by. I'm Zamira, sword and seer. I'm a clairvoyant and an energy worker, and we are talking about energetic basics today, okay? Grounding, cleansing, shielding. So I'm going to tell you the techniques you need to do or you can do to help you do it, the sensations you should be feeling whenever you do partake in these energetic activities, and I'm going to answer some questions that have arose in me as I've gone on this own adventure, trying out so many different modalities and really feeling into what works, okay? I really want to find what works for me, and honestly, I really ask you to look at things that way too. Instead of just sort of picking up and doing whatever a practitioner tells you, test things out. Is it actually working? And that's how you're going to get so much more in depth with your own practice and actually feel like you're not bullshitting yourself whenever you're doing magic or you're playing around with your psychic abilities and trying to be more in touch with yourself. So that's what I'm going to preface this video off on saying, and I do want to say I'll have resources down below where you can go deeper into this work. If you have not watched the previous video, go watch that, because if you're not doing that previous work, then all of this shit, I mean, it works, but to an extent, right? If you're not engaging with your physical life and what's going on there, then it's just, it's in your field and it's going to be fucking with you all day. So definitely look at the previous video because that helps with actually maintaining your auric field as well. Anyway, so a lot of this information has derived from my own personal experiences and also from mentors that I have worked with one-on-one, or teachers that I really admire in the spiritualist space, and I will also link their stuff below. There are some pages and stuff that I think are going to be very beneficial for you guys as well, so I'm going to post that down below too. Anyway, so first off, spiritual hygiene is so important, and there's a little bit of a weird vibe around spiritual hygiene in spiritualist spaces. You have the people who say it doesn't matter at all and it doesn't work, it's fear mongering, stay high vibe and you'll be fine. And you'll have the other people who are very, very militant and say, no, like, do this or die. I am kind of in that category. I'm trying to not be in that category as much. I'm trying to do my best to sort of be a little more in the middle with it all, because it really doesn't have to be that serious, but it's important, and it really does depend on what are the workings that you're doing, right? If you are just, an average Joe who's just, dipping your little toe in the spiritual stuff, and you're just like, I just want to feel a little bit better, more connected with myself, then you might not have to clear and shield all the time, okay? You might just need to ground, and that's like plenty for you. But if you're a practitioner, girl, it's a must, okay? It's a must. And I'm telling you, for your own psychological, your physical, and your etheric health, okay? It's important. If you are going to be engaging with other people's energy fields through reading them, through stepping into them and really seeing what's going on in their life, if you are doing energy work, you need to be shielding, and you need to pay attention to the energy that is yours or is not yours pretty constantly, okay? So yeah, that's kind of where I want to start there, because there's a third type of person. You're doing personal magic, you're doing personal stuff with your abilities and stuff like that. You won't need to shield every day. It's, encouraged to just start where you can, but you won't need to be so militant about it. However, if you're working with other people, then yes. And we'll go more into how to handle those situations and stuff. But anyway, I think I've talked enough. Let's get into grounding, right? So grounding. Grounding is the art. Grounding is the practice of really coming back into your body and making sure that you're occupying the space completely and fully, so that way you are working with your own sovereign power. So that way you are noticing the different sensations in your body and you're taking back your energy through grounding. And that really allows you to engage with your own life, your spiritual, your healing journey 100% of the way, or as much as you can. Grounding is very, very important because when you occupy this space, your body, nothing else can occupy it for you, which that can talk about your boyfriend, your friends, your teachers, your, the people in your life, your siblings. It allows you to take control of your energy instead of other people's. So a lot of the ways that we do this is really engaging with Mother Earth or our root chakra, and you can do whatever you want to do. But a couple of exercises are what follows. So I like to imagine visualizing where my soul is in my body. And sometimes, especially for like psychics or sensitive people, your soul likes to hang out like outside of your body, right? And so what you want to do is pull it back in. Like, hey soul, come back, bitch. Oh my God, I need you right now. Bring your soul back in your body and visualize it sitting back into the seat of your body. That's one of the ways. Another one of the ways that has been super helpful for me, it's almost like grounding kind of cleanses on its own as well, because what you're doing is kind of sorting through different energies unconsciously. Like you don't have to do it particularly consciously, but it's almost like you're bringing all the energy around you, all the scatteredness around you, bringing all of your energy into your center and then pushing it down into the ground as much as you can. And whenever you push it all into the ground, you genuinely do kind of feel this sense of clarity, this sense of feeling a little bit more settled down and more grounded. And it's great. So here's the thing. Another the practice you can do, I've heard of people using golden tipped roots. So imagining roots sprouting down from your root chakra or your feet, and they're like dipped in this heavy weighted gold, and it makes it kind of like more of a conductor for energy, for that earth energy to come back up. But gold tipped roots down into the ground and all the way down into the heart of Mother Earth. And once it's at the heart of Mother Earth, bring that green, beautiful energy of Mother Gaia back up the feet, up the legs, into the heart and the root. Have it circling in those spaces to just sort of help you get settled down a little bit more there too. So, some people say, imagine yourself in dirt, being buried and feeling the bugs around you and really feeling the coolness of the dirt and just really being in that place. That can help some people. For some people, that might be a little creepy. For our claustrophobia babies out there, don't do that one. Maybe don't do that one. But the point of grounding is that it's not just about visualization. It's really about feeling it. So you can do whatever type of practice that gets you to that sensation of feeling more in your body and more weighted. Like some people are just not going to get to that place with some of these visualizations that I offer for you guys, but it's a good place to start so that way you kind of know how it works and what you can do. But for some people, grounding can really look like just sitting with themselves in quiet for a little bit and just feeling the weight of their body as well. It really is just up to what you would like to do. Okay, sorry, this was choking me a little bit, so I changed it. So the important part about grounding is really that you feel it, okay? That you feel it, you see it, like visualize it, and maybe even hear it if that's a clair or that's a sense of yours that you really, really connect with. it's really important you're seeing it on those different levels, because that's what makes it even more potent. If you're just thinking about it, like thinking about doing all the things, you might not feel it as potent as you probably would like to, right? Feel it as potently. Yeah, whatever. You get what I mean. It might be a challenge. And then there's some of us that really have a challenge with grounding overall. And what you want to do then is to focus on clearing, which is the next segment of this video. So particularly for clearing for the purpose of grounding, you're going to want to focus on your root chakra. So clearing your root chakra or clearing the bottoms of your feet. It's chances are that if you're having issues with grounding, these places could be a little bit more murky, maybe a little bit more blocked, and cleansing these areas will really help you with just letting the energy flow through a little bit better over there, okay? But without further ado, let's get to how do you cleanse? There are many different ways to cleanse. Personally, my style is through visualization and working with light technologies, right? And I like saying light technologies because light is very, very smart. It's very, very cleansing. It goes and does more than just cleansing for us. That's why I kind of like calling it a technology. That's kind of my vibe. Some people really do like using like herbs or resins and stuff like that, and it definitely works. But, you know, do you really need to be using the physical tools all the time? You can use your own power as well. You can also use physical touch as well, like in Reiki, which I am a level 1 and 2 Usui Holy Fire practitioner, by the way. If in level 1 you learn Kenyoko, which is just the art of brushing off energy off of your physical body in this way. And sometimes that can do some nice cleansing. So you could do it through physical touch. Now, how to use different lights, light technologies, or different flames. I really like using it because once you get good, once you get good at feeling light, you really can feel the difference of how it cleanses you. So just keep in mind to use a light that you really connect with. So I recommend using and starting with a white Christ or source light. You can also use golden light. You can also use pink, blue, green, emerald rays, violet rays, rainbow rays, rainbow light. You can use rainbow plasma, plasmic lights. So plasmic lights are going to be a lot thicker. It's like liquid light. That's what it feels like. They're very, very thick, and it just swallows like darkness, densities, and stuff like that. So what you do is you basically imagine this like thick light or a lot of light coming through your crown and around yourself, and you just have it flooding your space. So flooding your space around you and then flooding in your internal space, and really, really visualize it and take your time with it. You don't want to rush through it. You want to stick with it, visualize it in your mind, and really feel it working. And what you should feel is you should be a little, especially because you've done this after you've grounded, you should be able to feel shifts in your body, movement in your body. Maybe you feel particular areas where it feels more stuck than other areas. Very important to push more light into those areas to really push it out of your body. And with all of those things, that the stagnant energy, the dark energy, you really want to imagine that going down some roots or being soaked into the ground or just pushed out of your body, and really feel into it. Now, if you have stickier stuff in your body and you freak out about that, don't freak out. Everybody has them. Everybody has those sticky, problematic areas that we have a little bit of an issue getting rid of and clearing stuff. You can try your herbs, your resins, taking it up a little bit of a notch with your tools. And if that doesn't work and you really feel like you need second eyes or something, go to somebody else, go to a practitioner, or go to your spiritual friend and ask them, hey, what is it that you see? You just want to really make sure that you trust them and vibe them out and they feel good, right? So, yeah, that's kind of how to clear a little bit. You can also use light flames, like different flames. I use the violet flame or the white flame, and you can really make these flames really pretty. Like the white flame, you can kind of see it as more of this like prismatic, rainbowy type white flame, and just use that to clear whatever you need to. Or the violet flame as well, which a lot of people like to use. And I love how I said violet, and now I see like violet coming from my like little rainbow light over there. I love that. So yet another thing to think about with clearing. I think that's it. Right. Salt scrub and essential oils. So if you feel like you just kind of need a little bit more, like the smudge stick isn't working, I don't want to call it a smudge stick. What I mean by that is like your bundle of rosemary or some shit. If that feels like it's not working, this isn't working, another route you might want to go is sea salt and essential oils, like literally 3 drops of an essential oil, because you don't want to get like chemical burns, which I have done to myself before. See, I have a problem, and I'll go into my problem later, but you do want to maybe use that in the shower or as a scrub in the bath. That can also really help a lot with just clearing energy and making you feel a lot better. Okay, so that's clearing, that's cleansing, okay? And these are really, really powerful modalities that work for a lot of people. And you can do it yourself, right? You can clear your own energy. Believe that you can do it. Believe that you are powerful enough to do it. And really be honest with yourself and feel into the spaces that feel a little bit more dense. And with all of these practices that I'm talking about, be honest with yourself. Honesty is very, very important with yourself in psychic work or energy work, because it lets you know whether or not something is working, right? New Age spirituality really teaches you to kind of like gaslight yourself, but there is kind of some nuance with that. Of course, you want to believe that your stuff works, but you also have to be honest with yourself and let yourself know whether or not it is, right? So it's kind of having that middle passage of like, okay, I did this energy work. We'll see how it goes. Is it actually working? Stuff like that. Okay, shielding. Shielding is very important, especially for practitioners. Now, grounding can actually be enough for people who are not practitioners or just doing their own work at times, because it's very protective. And honestly, as a practitioner, there was a phase where I just went through just grounding a lot all of the time, because I felt like I just needed to pay attention to that, and it worked very well. It's like basically I would clear on the fly and just really hone in on my own energy, and if anything weird came towards me, I'd immediately clear it out. And that can actually kind of help with really getting stronger at discerning good versus bad energy or helpful versus harmful energy. But you really want to do that whenever you're at a place where you are psychic and you know you are and you can trust your abilities and stuff. So I don't recommend that for beginners. What I do recommend for beginners is starting out with the shielding. And also, honestly, I'm back with shielding anyway, because it's just very exhausting to have your abilities on and just having to be conscious of that all the time. Like, just make it easier for yourself, girl. You know what I mean? So, believing in your shield is very, very important. And if you don't believe in your shield, then that's something to look at. It's something to do shadow work on. And if you don't know how to do shadow work, I do have an article that I'll leave below that helps you understand what it is. And maybe I'll make some videos about it later. I think I do have a previous video about it as well. Yeah, so sorry, I'm looking at my laptop. We're hanging out, we're hanging out and talking about energy work and stuff, so it's chill, right? Whatever. Let me take a breath. Actually, I don't have to rush. I feel like I have to rush. Just give me a sec, guys. I'm taking a breath. Anyway, yeah, get through it with shadow work or using somebody else's routine for their shielding or something like that. But you want to get to a point where you believe in your shield. And sometimes it just takes practice, persistence in building your own shield. Just start there. Anyway, so use whatever resonates with you for a shield. I like using light and movement. You can also use the elements. So fire, earth, air, water. I will say you do want to involve light and a harder substance when creating your shield. Personally, for me, I've noticed if I use things like water, air, and fire in particular, it's kind of good as a clearing layer, but it doesn't address everything and it's not hard enough for me to really believe in it. So belief plays a lot with that, but also you might want something harder. So yeah, another thing is making sure you're using some sort of light technology or something that kind of represents the etheric realms. So for instance, sometimes I really like using Herkimer diamond for a shield as well because it's just super hard, right? And that can work a lot for you as well. Sometimes it's important to not just use the elements. So just earth, air, fire, water, for me, has not been enough. It's just not enough. And the reason for that is because it addresses energies that are on earth. But what about energies that are not necessarily earthbound or elemental? You want to have some sort of light technology or etheric type of energy there to take care of those, okay? So of course, you want to imagine this substance either pouring down to you into an orb around you, imagining yourself as an orb. And Natalie Marconi is a spiritualist that I really, really do adore in this space because she knows what the fuck she's talking about. She really does. And it resonates with me so hardcore. So I loved her tidbit of talking about making sure you're looking at your shield, right? Making sure you're really feeling into your shield. Is it in front of you, behind you, to the sides of you, below you, and above you? Making sure that there are no porous holes in the shield at all is very, very important, okay? Because a lot of times when you're thinking and visualizing, it's very easy to just kind of visualize a circle around you, but does that address in front of you, behind you, above you, you know? So really making sure you're feeling the shield in those places is very, very important. Making the shield as big as you can. You can have it miles outside of your auric field, or you can have it like a little closer, but big enough to where you can move around in, and it just feels good to be in the shield rather than like constricting or anything. And you can also thicken your shield. You can also add different layers to your shield. So for instance, I used to like doing like a violet flame shield, but it wasn't thick enough. So then I did Herkimer diamond and then violet flame. So it would kind of clear whatever was outside of the Herkimer diamond. And you can get really, really creative with it, but we'll go into that in a little bit down the line. Once you've thickened your shield and it feels really good, you want to program your shield. Different layers of your shield can do different things, okay? You can have it clear things for you. You can have it only allow energy for the highest good of you inside of the shield. You can also have the shield heal you. Like for instance, one of my mentors was talking about how they put on this very, very intelligent shield for one of their clients, and it was the shield that was basically healing them and infusing them with light all the time. So it was like a colored shield, and then it had like threads connecting from the shield and into their skin, infusing their skin with light, really helping with just healing processes and stuff like that. So it can go really, really deep, and you can get very, very creative. Do it based off of your needs and what feels right with you. So yeah, let's talk about some frequently asked questions about shields, my experiences with shields as well. The first one that everybody talks about is they block me off from my abilities. I hear this from students of mine. I hear this from myself sometimes. And the thing is I've tested it over the years, and no, it doesn't block your abilities. It blocks input you don't need. That's what it can do. It does not. I don't know. There has been like one time in all the readings I've done for people where somebody's shield was interrupting the reading and blocking me from getting inside. What does that mean about me? I don't know. What does it mean about them? I don't know. Or how they programmed the shield. Maybe it was in a specific way. Maybe it was a shield that was like, no, do not let anybody divinate on me. I don't know. But there was only one instance that I couldn't get through to actually reading their energy. And with other people, I have seen their shields and I've let them know, hey, your shield is working. Hey, your shield is not working. Okay. So it does not block off your abilities. And if anything, you do want it to block off interference, because if you are a good psychic, you know that not all information that's coming through the clairs, if you're not intending for it, is good, or, if you're not doing that protection, not all of it's great. Sorry, the camera cut out. Let's get back to the asked questions. Another question people ask or talk about is that shields don't work, okay? They do work. They do work, okay? And you know what? I'm still playing around with this one. What I've noticed is, like, first off, your shield, if it's not working, it could be belief. It could be that your shield is just not good. For instance, like I talked about in the shielding portion, if you're using like softer elements or energies, then it's possible that it's just not hard enough for your like bodies to really understand you're protected. So you kind of need to navigate and make sure. There could be holes in your shields as well. And yeah, you really want to make sure you're paying attention to those things. The next thing that I really think is the reason why most people's shields don't work is because they're just not putting them up properly. You want to go through the process of setting it up and really sit with that process. You don't want to just think about a shield being on. Oh, just like shield up, shield up. What is that doing? That's not doing anything, okay? It's just not. You want to sit down and get yourself into not a meditative state, but a quiet state where you are paying attention to your energy field and really feeling the shield being applied to your auric field. You want to feel the different changes you're making into the shield, like making it harder or grounding it or doing whatever. You want to feel all of those different steps. That could be the reason why. If you're having a difficult time really sitting down with each of those steps and it's laborious, you may need to work on your grounding and meditation more. Meditation helps so much with your psychic abilities and your energy work because it helps your focus, okay? And whenever your focus is helped, you're so much more effective as a practitioner, and it's a lot easier to discern what is noise and what is you and what is not you and what's real psychic information coming through. Whenever I'm meditating more frequently, I'm a more effective practitioner, hands down. So, and that's something I've really sat with for about a year. Like there was half a year where I wasn't meditating as much and then half a year where I was. And nearly every time whenever I'm meditating, I have so much more of a better handle over my energy work, my healing journey and everything, and my psychic abilities. So you heard it here, guys. The next point is not to be militant or paranoid, and that's something that I'm working on and I don't do a fantastic job at, but I do think it's important for us to keep up with spiritual hygiene. So try your best not to be militant or paranoid about it. If you are and you're just not a practitioner, like you're doing this as for yourself and your own development and whatever have you. You just don't need to do this every day. You really don't. You're gonna be okay. You will be, okay? And if you have any anxiety not doing it, look at the anxiety and do the shadow work on the anxiety rather than taking that anxiety as input, or spiritual or psychic input that something's off because you're not grounded, shielded, whatever. Grounding every day is good for everyone though. Yeah, highly recommend that. Next one. Pay attention to your human first. Human first always. And your healing journey. If you're not paying attention to your human or your healing journey, you are, first off, you're neglecting yourself. And especially for the healing journey part, you're allowing energy to reside within your space that is not for your highest good, and that's constantly very leaky, and you're sealing it in with yourself whenever you're making a shield around yourself. So really make sure you're paying attention to those things. For instance, my last video that I talked about, all of that is very, very important. Actually clearing the auric field is not just using light, it's not just using spritzes, sprays, herbs, and resins. It's really about understanding your relationship to each layer of the auric field. So really make sure that you're paying attention to those. And if you don't know how, the previous video I made to this one goes into depth on how to do that. How to do that all, my God. And yeah, if you feel like shielding doesn't work, lastly, if you feel like shielding doesn't work, then focus on your physical body. Focus on your mental body, your psychological stuff, right? Is your mental health okay? If not, go to therapy, do something about it. Are you doing enough movement? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough food? If you're not, address that, because that will make you feel like shit. You know, it will make you feel like shit. And if you feel like shit, then you feel like your shielding and stuff isn't working, but really you might be just hungry. And that's why you're feeling depleted. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed these basics. If you want to go deeper with them, I have more resources for you in the description below. And definitely keep in touch with me on Instagram, because I provide a lot more tips and tricks there, moon readings and blah, blah, blah. But I'll have Natalie Marconi's Spiritual Hygiene page below. It's very, very helpful, and it teaches you more and has interactive like timers and stuff. And I will also put down my Heart-Led Mystics Guide, which talks about these things, developing discernment and clairsentience, as well as getting into the heart space, which is all important work for me as a practitioner. And the shadow work guide, I'll put it down below. I'm pretty sure I have a previous video about shadow work as well, but just to help you guys sort of understand what it is and get started on the journey there, because if you're not doing that as well, like, good luck just shielding all the time. It's not going to feel any better unless you're actually working on the stuff that's popping up in your life, you know? So yeah, I just want to help you guys out because it's really hard going throughout life and just people just not knowing what to do. There's a lot of rants and raves about all of these, like, either more advanced spiritual work, being psychic, or wards and egregores and all of these like really crazy sounding stuff. But whenever it comes to the basics, a lot of people still have a lot of questions and don't trust in the basics, and they're very more important than ever, really. And we really can't grow ourselves as practitioners or psychics or people if we're just kind of neglecting those basics. So I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, if you enjoyed, definitely, especially if you made it down here, subscribe, like, help the channel, please. It helps a lot. And check out swordandseer.com if you're interested in a session. If all the stuff is not working and you still feel heavy, you might need a deeper clearing. Or if you have questions about what's going on in your life, psychic readings, and I will have more offices. Interesting. Ooh, I hope I do. I will have more services up soon. And yeah, sending you a lot of gratitude for being here. Thanks. Bye.